interested in doing a simple test to estimate your risk for falls? If so, the timed up and go could be the perfect option for you. The timed up and go, also known as the tug, is a common standardized test used to assess a person's fall risk. It measures the time it takes you to stand up from your chair, walk 10 feet, turn around, walk back to the chair, and sit down. And it's measured against some varying norms that let you know whether or not you're a risk for falling and whether or not you should be using an assistive device for your functional mobility. Now, this is just one of many factors involved, so it's not going to be the only thing that measures your risk of falling, but it can help to assess your functional mobility and show you areas where you might be able to improve. For this test, you'll need a measuring tape, something to indicate on the floor where your 10-foot marker is. I'm using blue painter's tape, and a stopwatch. I also recommend you have someone else there to ensure safety and to manage the stopwatch if possible. Let's get started.
First, you need to measure 10 feet from your chair and put a piece of tape down where the 10-foot marker is. Instead of measuring the entire way, it can be easier to measure one wood plank or tile and then divide that by 10 feet. Place the tape wherever the 10-foot marker is on your floor. Make sure you're wearing a pair of safe walking shoes, and if you typically use a cane or a walker, use your assistive device during this test. When the timer says go, stand up, walk 10 feet, turn around, and walk back to the chair and have a seat, at which point the timer will stop the stopwatch. Do this one more time and have the timer average the 2 times it takes you to walk 10 feet and then back to your chair. Once you've averaged your 2 attempts, you can see how you performed based on these numbers. If you were able to do the timed up and go in less than 10 seconds, that's great. That's considered normal functional mobility. If it took you longer than 10 seconds, but you still got in under 20 seconds, you may have some minor mobility issues and you might not need to use a cane or a walker. If you took longer than 20 seconds but less than 30 seconds, then you may have some walking and balance problems. You shouldn't be walking outside alone, and you should use a walking device based on the recommendation of your doctor or physical therapist. It's worth noting that in a study done in 2014, it was determined that a score of 13.5 seconds or longer on the tug indicates a high fall risk. Many factors come into play, including blood pressure, blood sugar, level of fatigue, medication, and how you're feeling that day. So this is just one snapshot of your fall risk.